Ready to start your new kitchen affair? I have the perfect recipe for you. Baked chicken strips. The perfect combo of delicious crispy chicken strips. Combine them with your favorite dip and have a delicious healthy meal.
So let's get started with preparing the chicken. We're gonna cut up 4 large chicken breasts into thin strips, approximately the thickness of a finger, like this. They don't have to be perfectly even. After all, none of us are made equal. And after you finish, place them in the fridge uncovered while you prepare your other ingredients. This helps them dry up a little bit. You can buy already cut up chicken tenders or inner fillets as they're called and skip this part altogether. But I didn't find any at my local grocery store, so I'm teaching you how to make your own out of whole chicken breasts. So anyways, this makes enough for 4 generous servings, and believe me, you're gonna want them to be generous. Next up is the drench station. The most important part of it will be the cornflake crust. For this, we will add 250 grams of unsweetened cornflakes into a food processor, to which we will add all the spices, starting with a generous amount of salt and then some freshly ground pepper. But we're not gonna stop here. We're gonna continue to spice it up some more with smoked paprika for that intense smoky flavor and great color, cayenne pepper to give it that kick, cumin, white pepper, and of course garlic powder. Next, and this is optional, but you can add some freshly cut up herbs like rosemary, thyme, sage, or any other herbs you have. You can definitely use dried herbs as well, but I prefer the fresh ones as they give a more intense flavor. Just cut them up into small pieces. And my secret umami flavor bomb, grated parmesan, about 50 or 60 grams of it. This will make your taste buds go wow. Now give it a quick pulse in the food processor to combine all the spices. Don't make it too smooth, as we still need to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And don't skip this part, as this will make the crust adhere to the chicken and make your strips golden and crispy. Now give it another quick pulse to combine, but don't overblend it. The big bits of cornflake will make your chicken even more crispy. In the end, this is how it should look, with all the spices combined, evenly coated with oil, and an appetizing golden color. Not to mention, it should smell amazing. This is the perfect consistency for a crispy strip. For the second part of the drench station, we're gonna crack 3 medium-sized eggs, and then add a pinch of salt, some freshly ground pepper, and beat them up with a whisk until the whites and the yolk is well blended. Lastly, we're gonna add about half a cup of plain flour in a bowl. This will be your first step in the drench station, and the easiest of them all. And now that you have your drenching station ready, you should prepare your tray. For this, use a big tray so you have enough space in between your tenders. Line it with a baking sheet and add a wire rack on top so that your chicken cooks evenly and does not get soggy on the bottom. And then preheat your oven to 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Time to get your hands dirty. Get your piece of chicken and dip it in the flour first. Then dip it in the egg mixture. Make sure to coat it evenly. And lastly, place it in your cornflake crust. Make sure it has no bald spots. Repeat with all your pieces of chicken. Flour, egg, cornflakes. Always in this order. It helps if you use one hand for the dry ingredients and one for the wet ones. This takes a little bit of time at first, and it might get a bit messy, but you'll get the hang of it by the time you reach your last piece. Once all your pieces are prepared, add them to your baking tray. Leave enough space in between them so all the pieces get crisped up. And when it's time to bake, add them to your preheated oven in the middle rack and bake for 25 to 30 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit. For the last 5 minutes, you can switch your oven to ventilation mode to increase the crispiness. In the meantime, while the chicken is cooking, we're gonna make some delicious roasted potatoes to go along with it. Wash them well if you want to keep the peel on. Cut the white potatoes into halves, then into wedges, just like you would cut up a lemon wedge. For the sweet potato, I'm gonna cut them thinner just like French fries. I usually do this because the sweet potatoes take longer to cook than regular potatoes, and I want them both done at the same time. So cut them into slices and then into thin batons. Add them to your baking tray and season generously with salt, freshly ground pepper, and you can also add garlic powder or any other herbs here. And of course, I couldn't skip on the grated Parmesan cheese here. And lots of it. I don't know about you, but when I take time to cook something at home, I want to make sure it tastes extra delicious, so I don't skip on the spices. Lastly, we're gonna add about 3 tablespoons of good olive oil. Mix everything up and bake them at 400 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes or until they get a golden crust and the Parmesan melts. Believe me, you won't get enough of these. Time to take your chicken out of the oven. Take a look at these golden and crispy chicken strips. The inside is still juicy and tender and the flavor is just amazing. So next time you're craving fried chicken, don't run to the nearest KFC. Give this recipe a try. You'll be surprised of the results and I guarantee you're not missing anything on the flavor. Imagine you won't even have to sacrifice your calorie count for this one, since you're baking the chicken and not deep frying it. Combine these delicious bits with your favorite sauce, garlic aioli like I'm using here, sriracha mayo, hot ketchup, or even a fresh tzatziki to keep your dinner light. Enjoy! This was our crispy affair. I hope you give this recipe a try, and don't forget to subscribe to stick around for other amazing and easy to follow recipes.